Hey everybody, Mike here. Welcome to the channel. It's going to be one of those days where I'm going to do a little bit of an improv video. So I'm going to start modeling and see where we end up. And the idea is that I want to model a house because that's always fun to do. But I have no idea just yet what that house is going to look like. Okay. So I'm going to do it with a narrative just to give you an idea of my thought process. But trust me when I say I have absolutely no idea what this is going to become. Okay. All right. Now I want it to be an old house because that's always fun. It's has more character typically, right? And I want it to be a house with stone steps towards the front door, right? So let's start with that. Okay, so steps, they are square, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So we're gonna start with something like this, and I don't want it to be too long, like mansion-like, and I don't want it to be too narrow either. So let's do something like so. And I'm not too worried about topology at this point because this is intended as a concept, right? Once I'm happy with the whole look and feel, I'll look at how to address it further and clean it up, right? Okay, so I'm gonna extend that right here. I'll hit G to do that again, G to do that again, and G to do that again. That should be enough, right? Okay. Now, what's the deal? The deal is this. We're going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hit Control E to extrude. We'll pull that up like this. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Extrude. Pull that up. And it's always fun to exaggerate features, right? That's kind of the fun part of it. It doesn't have to be a realistic looking house as long as it's fun, right? Okay, let's say this is the top level here. So we'll leave that a bit wider, that's fine. And now, of course, this is incredibly boring if you look at it right now. So let me just get that sorted. For some reason, my key combinations aren't working properly now and then. We don't need that. And we don't need this either. Just hold down the tab key while you are dragging your mouse, and that's all there's to it. And I want this to be a little bit aged, okay? So I'm gonna hit Insert Edge Loop, and let's do 7 or so, and we'll just put them in here. And that will give us the opportunity to play with that a little bit, right? Okay, so let's insert some edge loops here as well. We'll do 1, and then we'll do 1, or maybe 2. And they don't all have to be the same, preferably not actually. Okay, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go in here, we're gonna grab vertices, something like this. We'll hit B for soft select, hold down B, left click and drag, and we're gonna slightly put some dents and bumps and that kind of thing in there, just to create some variation. So it's not perfectly straight. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here in the middle, select all of these, and we're gonna kind of push that down as well. So we'll get something looking like this, and now we're starting to get some character, okay? Insert edge loop again. We'll put some in here, and here, and here, and here. And ideally speaking, I don't really want to see any straight lines. Now, this might be a bit much from a soft select point of view, but you see, if I push the whole thing back a little, I get something looking like this. And that's pretty cool. Now, I got very sharp edges on the top here. That's of course something I don't want. So we're going to bevel that, and that already looks a lot different. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we do have repetition going on here, so let's tweak a little bit more. Let's go to vertex, and I'll just take one here and there and literally just make sure it looks a little bit different, right? All right, so yeah, good start, I think. Yeah, okay, cool. Now, of course, you got a huge gap on the side here, which is what you don't want, and that's kind of where the railing's going to be. But before I can do that, I need to worry about the door, right? So let's do the door first. Now, this door will open towards the inside, so let's create the door frame first. And yeah, we'll take a polygon cube. And we'll bring that in, we'll scale it, we'll pull that up, push it over, and let's get the rough position first, which will be here, of course. And this is a bit, let's turn off soft select. This is a bit thick frame-wise, I would say. Looking at the overall thing, the door can be higher because I want to put a window above the door. Kind of make it one of those old classic homes, if you know what I mean. All right, we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. We'll hit W to move that over. So the door is going to be very thin, which is kind of on purpose because, like I said, we want to over-exaggerate or under-exaggerate, if you will, right? Let's get some detail in here, and I think one way to do that would be to hit Control D to duplicate, W to move forward. We're going to hit R, we're going to scale that in quite a bit. And from that point of view as well, hit W, push that back in there. That's good. Jump to the top, 4 for wireframe mode. There's that little guy. Control D to duplicate, W to move that over. That's fine. Okay, and then let's go in here and hit mesh and combine, and then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Either rotate, hold down J and flip it around like so. We'll hit W to move that up. Get it in between here and push that in a little bit because you want that thin piece to connect, right? And then we're going to go in here to vertex, drag select, do the same at this end. And again, this is a concept piece to get an idea of what the house will look like, right? So don't go all bent out of shape over topology and that kind of thing, yeah? All right, so we have that. Now I want to have some kind of window type deal up there. So I'm gonna hit W and move that in to about here. So the actual door will be underneath. Let's see if this is looking okay. It's not. So we're going to go to mesh and combine. We're going to right click, go to vertex. We're going to push them in so it's not sticking out like so. That's fine. And then we're going to take these and push it in like this. Okay. So now that we have this is of course way too straight. So we're going to select the whole thing. We're going to go to mesh and combine. We're going to insert edge loop. And we're going to do that a lot because that helps us to change that shape. Okay, and again, there's something going on with my menu. I don't know what that is, but we'll see. All right, so let's put in plenty. Okay, Q on the keyboard. Now first we're going to go in and drag all of these in the middle here. B for soft select, and we're not going to go all the way down there, but okay, so we're going to hit W and we're going to very slightly move that. And let's see, yeah, that's fine. Then we're going to take all of this, actually not all of this, let's take this and see if I can kind of tweak that like so. That's actually nice. And then we're going to take one corner and we're going to W and we're going to bring that down a little bit. Right? You don't want things to be too straight. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, of course, we want to have some kind of wall in the background here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a polygon plane. Let me hit R and scale that out, and then hit E to rotate, and hold down J and flip it up like so. W to push that up. We're going to push that back right here. And then let's sort that. So we're going to go and hit W, bring that down, and actually let's take everything up a little bit so the bottom of the steps is sitting on the grid line. Okay, so now I can take that guy, set it on the grid line, that's fine. Alright, and then from the front, hit 4. I can kind of decide how tall and stuff I want, right? I want this to be a very tall house, and we'll make it a bit wider, but not a lot, right? Okay, now I already know that I want to have a shape that kind of flares out like this, and most likely will slant one way. The door already is sagging there, so let's say it's an old house that is starting to drop at one end. I don't know. Let's take all this and actually let's make it even thinner. Why not, right? Okay, so now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to hit Control E to extrude, and we're going to hit R to pull that out. W, not R. We'll do it this way and I'll push it back. It's fine. All right, object mode, push it back. There you have it. And ready. Okay, now of course even on this side I want to mix that up a little bit, so we're gonna take this and kind of push that in and push it down from this end. Okay, give it kind of a cartoony feel to it. All right, let's see, we're going to insert one edge loop and we'll do a multiple and one, which will put it in the middle, and then we're going to push that on the top of that roof right there. Hit Q on the keyboard, grab it, hit W, move that up, and now that we have kind of the overall shape, we're going to grab all these vertices, bring it down, and I want to bring them all in, which means that these need to come in even further. That's maybe a bit much. Okay. All right. So now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a window and a door, and we're going to do that in front of this panel, so we're not going to see that. All right. Okay. So let's create a window, and we'll take a simple polygon plane with a W, move that in, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it, W to push in. Let's get in here, F to frame. So this is the one we have, so we're going to go to vertex, and we're gonna hide it in here. And that should cover that wall. Let me turn on ambient occlusion so I can see it better. Yeah. So if we go to object mode, that's the one I want. All right. Now I want a little bit more detail in there. So what I'm going to do is take a couple of polygon toruses, torusi, I don't know. And we'll hit R, we'll scale it down quite a bit. Let's open up the attribute editor. And we'll do 0.1, which should be fine, right? And then we're going to hit W, we're going to move that in here. And we're going to move that up, after frame. Let's make them a lot bigger. And then we'll put one here. And let's Control D to duplicate, W to move. Shift D a couple of times. Drag select all of them. Deselect the house. Control D, W to move up. I got the window there, sorry. Control D, W to move up. I'll get that sorted in a minute. And Control D one more time, and we'll put them in here. And then I'll grab this guy. Kind of hard to see like this, but yep, so good. Okay. All right, so delete that. That kind of gives us a good sense of what's what. And of course, we need to adjust that a little bit because it's slanted. So this should be slanted as well, right? So we're going to go to mesh and combine, and then we're going to hit E, and we're going to kind of slant it a little bit, right? And then W, move it over. There you have it. Okay, so we've got some decoration going on there. All right, now for the door. The door, yeah, we're gonna take a board. And the thing is, I just kind of go with whatever pops up in my mind, right? I have literally no idea what this is going to look like, and it's kind of like while modeling, you put in a door frame and then you say what door would fit in with that kind of frame, and then you put a window in, what decoration would fit with that kind of, yeah, and so forth. Yeah, all right. So we're going to go to vertex, just on this guy, vertex, yeah, and we're gonna kind of push that in like so. We're gonna W, we're gonna move that in and down, and I'm gonna leave a little gap at the bottom there because I don't know why, just because, right? We're gonna push that up here like this. Then we're going to take the same thing, Control D to duplicate, move it over. Except now, of course, we need to move this over here. And then we're going to borrow this guy. We're going to Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it, hit W, move it up here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move that forward, but not all the way, because you kind of want to see the individual pieces, right? So we're going to go in here to vertex. Let's bring that in here. That's good. Object mode, Control D to duplicate, and W to move down. So there's going to be one there, and then Control D again. And there's going to be one there. And that needs some sorting. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit. And then bring this down. Okay. All right. So that's obviously a door, right? We need a doorknob. So we're going to take a sphere. And we're going to take that sphere. We're going to either rotate and then flip it over like so. And then we're going to jump into this view. F to frame, right click at a face, drag select half, delete that, and then go in here to edge, double click, Control E, pull that out, R to scale in, way in, G to repeat, R to pull out, W to push. All right. Hit 3 to preview smooth. There you have it. There's our doorknob. We're going to hit W. We're going to move it in. Move it up. Move it over. F to frame. R to scale. And then we're going to pull this out. Let's say that's our doorknob. And we'll put it the same height as this guy, which is what typically is the case. We need to have panels in the door, but we'll do that in a second. Let's go in here and take a cylinder. We need some hinges, so we can hit R. We're going to scale that up. Control A. Not the channel box. I don't like the channel box. I never use the channel box. Let's go. Let's see. We're going to do round cap. Yes, we are. And then subdivision. Yep. And then something like this. What on earth is going on there? Let me grab a new cylinder. All right. We're going to add a round cap and add division. Okay, cool. So we're going to W, we're going to move this over here. I want these to be a bit longer, so right click vertex, push it up like so, and then we're going to hit W, and we're going to move them in here, and up, and in, and R to scale down, F to frame. And these really don't have to make too much sense. After all, it's fake, it's cartoony, it's, you know, so just have some fun with it, all right? Now that one's going to be a little bit slanted. Then we're going to push one up here, and then Shift D, one up there. Okay, so this one's going to be pushed in here. That one's going to be pushed in there. All right. So we need a glass panel for our door, the top, and we need some boards on the bottom. So we're going to take a polygon plane. Let's hit E to rotate, hold on J, flip it on its side, hit R to scale it up. That's going to be our window. So move that in, move that up. F to frame. Get a vertex mode. That's behind the frame. That's behind the frame. So is this. And so is this. think we need to bring it forward. Go to object mode. Come on, object mode. Yep. Come on. Okay, so that's the glass in our door, which is good. And now we need some boards. Now for that, we'll take a polygon cube. It doesn't have to be a cube, but and we'll do this. And we'll right click and go to face, and we'll get rid of all of this. So we basically have a plane, yep. And I'm gonna do 1 and 2. Control E to extrude, W to push back, and R to flare out a little bit, like this, okay? Now let's get in there, we're gonna move it in. We're gonna scale it down, W to push down, there you have it. Push it over here, right click, go to vertex, drag select, push that up, and we're gonna move that over just a little bit. Then we're gonna go to object mode, Control D to duplicate, W to move, and then hit Shift D a bunch of times and see what we need to tweak. Okay, so they're all in the back there. So we don't want this guy, we don't want this guy, we don't want this guy, we don't want this guy. Let's hit 4. Yeah, that's the only thing we have. So we're gonna bring that forward to a point where we can see them. We're going to hit E, and I'm going to rotate them a little bit. Actually, before I do that, I need to go to Mesh and Combine. And now I'm going to hit E. So we should be able to see them. And why is that? Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, sorry guys. So what the problem is here is the spacing, right? So there you go. They were too close to each other. Shift D a couple of times. There you have it. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I do need to tilt them a little bit. Mesh and combine, and we're gonna rotate them a little bit just to make it look a little bit better. Okay, so, and we can bring them a bit forward, looks like. And when I did that before, I thought they were in the back, but we just couldn't see them. All right, so we have our door frame, we have our top window, we got the pane, the window pane, but yeah, window pane. So yeah, that's all good. Now we're gonna add some details to the side of the building. And I always like to do that with big stones. So we're gonna take a cube and W. I'm gonna move that, move it up to about here. Okay. After frame, insert edge loop. Let's do 2. And then we're gonna move those not all the way to the end, about here. And then we'll do 2 again and 2 again. Q on the keyboard. Let's hit 3. So you'll get something looking like this, right? Let me do 2 more. And then we're going to go in here, we're going to go to vertex, and we're going to hit B for soft select, hit W, push that in, push that up. You get the idea, right? Okay. And then we're going to hit 3. Okay, so you're going to get something like this. Hit B on the keyboard, and then we're going to insert these onto the corners of the house. Right, after frame. So this guy's sticking out to something like this, right? And then we're going to Control D to duplicate, W to move up, to about there, E to rotate, flip it around like so, hit W, move that out here, and then we're going to push that back. We're going to hit E to rotate it. Hit W, move that in. Move that in. Make sure they're not pushing each other out. Okay, and then typically you would do one more, Control D, and you would move that up here. And then that's the one you would tweak a little bit. Otherwise, they're way too uniform, and you don't want that, right? And you might want to consider making that one a bit shorter, maybe. Let's hit B for soft select. Okay, so that's something that you would do. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. So Control D, move that over. And of course, this one's going to be lower. Let's bring it in, rotate that a little bit, because of course the building is not straight. Control D to duplicate, W to move that up to about there. That's the one you want to tweak a little. So we're going to hit R, we're going to squish it together a little bit. And then we'll take this one, Control D, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it, push it out, after frame. Let's rotate this guy. Let's bring that up, rotate it like so. Bring this guy down. Okay, now we'll take one of these. And then we'll take this guy and move that up here. Rotate a little bit. Okay, so there's that. Now let's bring down this roof a little bit because it's of course massive and it doesn't have to be. So that's good. Now what I want to do next is let's see, what we'll do is we'll put on we'll put a panel and a railing next to the door here. Okay, just close that up. So we'll take a polygon cube. Let's hit W, let's move that in here. Let's have a look at the front door here. And Control D to move it over to this end. And we want to make sure that we're closing that gap properly. Okay, that's good. Let's bring those in. like so. And then height wise, let's bring that up to about the doorknob, I would say. And then from there, we're going to do is, of course, tweak that a little bit. So insert edge loop again. Let's do multiple and 7. 7 there as well. Q on the keyboard. Let's hit 3. Okay. Need to add a little bit more. Insert edge loop. Let's set to 2. 2 and 2. 2 and 2. All right. We're going to right click our vertex. We're going to hit B for soft select. So you're going to hit W. We're going to kind of push that in. We're going to push that up. Push that in a little bit. This guy, push it down somewhat. Push it in. Actually, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to do 3 to preview smooth and 3 to preview smooth. So that's kind of what we're getting. All right. Now it's not closed up just yet, so we're going to take these two. Control D to duplicate, W to move forward until we're there. And these would typically be smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit R. And we're going to push them in like this. Hit W, move them down. Let's make sure they're sitting where they should be sitting. Yeah, that's good. And then these guys, they're all right. Okay. So we have that. Now we need to cover up the stairs further, right? So let's take another polygon cube, pull it out, hit R, pull it out like this, hit W, move it in here, move it in here, get it up to where it needs to be. Then we're going to go in here to edge, double click. This guy as well, turn off soft select, bevel. And then we're going to have to do the same at the bottom here. Otherwise it wouldn't be consistent. Bevel. Excuse me. Then we're going to control a D to duplicate, W to move up, like so. We're going to shift D, and let's see, that's not enough. So we're going to shift D again. And then we're going to take all of these. I'm going to go to mesh and combine. We're going to move the pivot point down by hitting the insert key. The insert key again. Hit R and bring it down like so. Until we're at the top of the stairs, and we are. And then we need to bring the whole thing in a little bit, because we want it to cover. All right. So now that we have that, we're going to control D to duplicate, W to move over. We're going to E to rotate, hold down J, flip it around like so, hit W and move that in here. Okay, so that needs to tilt in a little bit. W to move in here, and of course we just don't want to see that opening. So that seems to be fine. Now let's see, do we need anything else? I think this looks pretty cool. what I'll do just to make it look a bit nicer is we'll take a polygon cylinder, hit E to rotate, hold down J, flip it on its side, W to move it out. We're gonna hit R, we're gonna stretch that out quite a bit, and then we're gonna scale it and make it nice and thin. Bring it in here, bring it up, after frame. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit W, we're gonna move that up to about there, I would say. And this is gonna be our railing, sort of. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click and go to vertex. We're going to take a sphere. Scale it down. Put it on top. So this would be about there, and it has to be centered, of course. I already know that I need another one over here, so let's just do that. That one has come down a bit. Okay, so now we can take this, and it's already sitting where it should be sitting, pretty much. And then we can take this end and push it up like so, just to add some more detail. Okay, now we're going to hit Control D, we're going to move that over, and I was thinking, what do we need to change? But not a lot. We need to lower it a little bit and bring it in, but other than that, it's fine. So that looks quite inviting, I would say, so far. So yeah, what's next? How about a roof and a, yeah, we're gonna put tiles on the roof, okay? So that's not too complicated. We're gonna take a polygon cylinder. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump to the top, after frame, we're gonna hit the tab key to get rid of this, and then we're going to cut it in half. So we're going to go to face mode, delete half of those. Yeah, good. After frame, here we have it. We're going to hit R, we're going to stretch it out. E to rotate, hold on J. After frame, let's hit E to extrude, and let's do 0.1, which should be enough. Insert edge loop again, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Yeah, Q on the keyboard. Hit 3 to preview smooth, and it'll get something looking like this, which is fine. All right, so we're going to take this, we're going to move it towards our roof, or if you live in the US, it's probably pronounced roof or whatever. Okay, the frame. Now, we're in the ballpark of where we need to be. This is going to be a bit finicky because, of course, that roof is all over the place, right? So, but it's all part of the fun. Okay. So there you have it. We're going to Control D to duplicate, W to move, and I'm going to make the roof straight first. So Shift D, and then we're going to take one of these, Control D, E to rotate, hit J, whoops. Of course, it's under on an angle, so I need to double click on this guy, and instead of world orientation, we're going to go to object orientation. So now we can hold down J and flip it around like so. hit W, move it over here like this. Hit W, move that up. All right. And then we're going to Control D to duplicate, and W to move. And I'm going to hit Shift D. And then Shift D again, Shift D and Shift D. Okay. So now that I have all of that, I'm going to go to Mesh and Combine. And then we're going to go to not role orientation, object orientation. And of course we're going to tilt it a little bit like this. We're going to Control D to duplicate. We're going to move forward, push down, and then we're going to Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. Yeah, okay, that can work. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then we're gonna take these, and we're gonna go to Mesh and Combine, and then nope, not this, not that, just this. Mesh Combine. Control D, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it around. And we're going to push it out here, and we're going to rotate it. And what I'm aiming at most is kind of the front view, but we'll see what we'll get, right? Usually it's easier to model everything straight and then mess with it, if you know what I mean. And I think what I need to do here is go to Mesh and Separate, right? And then I'll grab all of these, not the house, delete those, and then I'll take one row, and it'll be much quicker to do it this way. And we're going to go to Mesh and Combine, and then I can hit W, move them like this, Control D to duplicate, push it down, push it out, like so, maybe a bit further, tilt it a bit. Okay, so that's where the issue is. We're going to go to world mode. Let's see what's better. Yeah, world mode's better. Okay, let's hit Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. Of course, they need to be tweaked. Okay, so now we need a few on top of the roof there. So we're going to go to mesh and separate. We'll take one of these, hit W. Let's go to center pivot, move it up. E to rotate it. Did I actually just take that thing instead of copy it? It looks like, yeah. Control D to duplicate. That's better, yep. E to rotate, rotate it around. Let's see if it's kind of aligned with the roof there. We're gonna move it, we're gonna move it down. That's where we want to be. We're gonna move it straight. Now, these are typically a bit larger. Not much larger, but a bit. So we're gonna move that up here and hit E and rotate it like so. Control D to duplicate. And then Shift D to do that again. And Shift D to do that again. And we're going to bring that in. And let's see what we got. You need to look at the big picture, right? I mean, okay, cool. All right, so we got that. So what's next? We need to address the corners of the house itself. They're way too straight. So we're going to hit bevel and we're going to do 0.1 maybe, 0.05, and we'll do 3 right there. Okay, so we got that. Now what we need to do, I would say, yeah, what we need to do next is we need to have a window, and we need to have a couple of shutters. So the window, of course, we're going to do polygon cube. Let's move that out. F to frame, R to scale. All right, then we're going to go in here and take the bottom face, get rid of it. Take the top face, Control E to extrude. We can hit R, we're going to scale it in somewhat, G to repeat, W to push in just a little. That's our window. Let's put that guy in place. E to rotate, hold J, flip it on its side, then we're going to move it in. F to frame, and of course this guy is way too straight. So there's gonna push that down a little bit. Push that down as well, and maybe push it out a little bit, and then we'll push this up a little bit. Why not? Let's have some fun with that, right? Okay, let's see if it's sitting properly. Yeah, looks like it is. And let's see if we can add a little detail here. We're going to do another cube. We're going to push that in here. And again, this is a concept, not a clean model, okay? Get rid of those straight lines. Control D, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it. W to push that up and do something like this. Vertex mode. There you have it. Good, good. Then we're going to go in here to object mode, go to mesh and combine. Let's push it in like so, and then we'll push it in here. That looks cool. And then we need some shutters. And for that, we'll take a simple, there we go, cube. And we're just gonna push that in, pull that out. So we got a board. We're gonna push that in, push it down. All right, and this is where the fun starts, because this is something that you can have fun with by messing with them. And of course I'm going to do that. I'm going to push this down. These are all half rotten, half broken. I've been there forever, right? Control D to duplicate. Let's move one over, push it down. These shutters haven't been closed for ages, so they're just basically hanging there doing nothing, right? But you know, it's cool to have fun with. Right, so Control D, we'll hit W, we'll move on over here. And I mean, we don't even have hinges on these, but the fun thing is, if you look closely to screenshots of, I don't know, Pixar movies, and you look at, you know, gutters, do they have clamps and that kind of thing, and they usually don't, because that's just something your mind doesn't even register. I mean, if they're running down a street and you are looking at every detail of every house you see, then you'll find that there's a lot of, you know, assumption going on. Let's see how this looks. And they're coming off the wall a bit, a little bit too much, but that's okay. I'll get that sorted. So we're going to move that in. I think that's quite decorative, isn't it? Yeah, cool. And yeah, let's see, what else can we do? There's one more thing I want to do, which is a rain gutter. Okay. So, yeah, let's see if there's anything we can borrow here. Yes, there is. This guy. Control D to duplicate, W to move. We're going to E to rotate. We're going to flip it over like this. And then like this. Move it in here. Move it down. Okay, we're gonna hit R, we're gonna stretch this guy out. And the cool thing is, by doing so, we're making it look funky, which is kind of neat. Let's move that. Let's scale it back a little bit, but we need to do that in object mode. Oh, that's funky. Yeah, not bad. Okay. So let's push this out. And this is going to be a rain gutter, right? And then we're going to take these vertices at the end. And I'm going to hit scale. Not scale. I'm going to rotate that in a little bit. Maybe not the best idea in the world to use that as a reference, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Okay. So let me just do what I should have been doing anyway, right? I just painted myself into a corner. It happens. Okay, so get rid of these faces, and we're gonna get rid of these faces. And you know, it comes with the territory. Sometimes you do something and you're like, okay, that wasn't the best idea. Well, there you have it. And I could have edited this out, but what for? I mean, we all make mistakes, and that's how we learn, right? Okay, flip this around. W to move it up. I think the hard part sometimes is to acknowledge that you actually did mess up. And yeah, as soon as you start that piece over, you kind of have to admit to yourself that you did that. So okay, so scale this down. Don't want it to be too big. All right, so we have this. We need to Control E to extrude. Let's do 0.1, which is cool, and then we'll hit 3. No, we'll not hit 3. Okay. Now, yeah, so that's there. Then we're gonna take a couple of pipes, rain pipes, obviously, and that's always fun because that's where you can give the building a lot of character. So let's delete all of this. And yeah, okay. We'll jump to the perspective view. We'll go in here and we'll raise that up. Object mode. Lift to frame. Art to scale. We're gonna kind of push it in there. I mean, the way we're looking at the building, we're never going to be able to see that, right? Because we're going to be looking at it from here. I will clean it up a little bit though. So then you go to vertex mode. And you start to bring that down. Right? And then you hit... actually, I'll bring it down all the way first. Yep. And then what you do is you go in. I think it's a bit thick though. Let's make it a bit thinner. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I'm gonna go to vertex mode. We're gonna push these down. Try to set it next to the house, like this. And then we're going to insert edge loop, and let's do, I don't know, 5. Yeah. And then from here, and that's the fun part, with these 5 in here, if I can see them, yeah. We're going to go to vertex mode. Why is it that Maya doesn't want to listen? And we're just gonna mess with it. So from the front view, we can do the same thing. We're gonna grab this, push that in. We'll pull this out. It's just cool, right? So if we hit 5, we go to object mode. I mean, there's a lot of character right there, which is kind of cool. And of course, you can go on and on. I'll put brackets in here and a little bucket with flowers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're an hour and a half in. So yeah, I'll do the flower bucket thing, right? Why not? We just have to do it. So we're going to go in here and we're going to get rid of this. Let's tweak the shape a little bit. Let's take this face and squish it in and squish it in, something like so. We're going to go to object mode. Excuse me. 0.1. All right. And then we'll take this thing and we'll push it in here and lower it so it's sitting right there. And of course it's crooked. And then we'll take, I don't know, we'll put in some flowers. The coolest flowers you've ever seen, trust me. Beautiful flowers. All right. So yeah, there you have it. That's how you can approach modeling a house. And yeah, this is an hour and a half in. If you were to legitimately make a house like this, you know, with a couple of cobblestones and a fence and that kind of thing, and you spend enough time on the topology, then you're looking at a model that will take you 20, 30 times longer than, you know, the time I spent on it. Anyway, the whole idea is for you to get inspired and to create something for yourself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's why I make them, okay? So if you did enjoy it, let me know in the comments. Hit that like, hit that sub if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.